Having big biceps is just one of those things that all men have dreamt of at one time or another. I know what it's like to have small biceps, and I know what it's like to have relatively big biceps. And let me tell you, I choose big every fucking time. Nearly every day, I see people in the gym just with terrible form on biceps exercises, and that is just one of the biggest reasons why they aren't growing. So in this video, I go through how to have perfect form on every single bicep exercise. Let's start with barbell curls. First, take a comfortable shoulder width grip on the bar. Then slightly push your hips back and bend at the knees so that your arms hang vertically with the bar. Then curl the weight up as far as you possibly can. Remember that some forward elbow movement is totally fine. And one thing I like to do is imagine you're taking the bar right to your eyes. The most important part is just making sure you keep your body as stable as possible and that your arms are the only thing moving. And you also want to make sure that you don't use momentum. All right, next up we got the dumbbell curl, which is actually very similar to barbell curls. One thing I like to think about is closing the elbow. And most people think about lifting the dumbbell to your shoulder, but this is going to cause other muscle groups to get involved, which ultimately takes the stimulus off the bicep. Now we got the preacher curl. First, you want to make sure the seat is at the right height. Try to get the top of the cushion to be right under your armpit. From this position, extend your arms, which will stretch out your biceps. Then you're going to want to push your palms up and towards you. I like to think of curling the weight in a rainbow-shaped motion. If you slightly lift your elbows off the pad, that's totally fine as long as they don't cave inwards. Just make sure you keep your shoulders locked in place, squeeze at the top, and slowly control the eccentric. All right, next up we got the incline curl. You want to imagine that you have really heavy arms that are pulling your shoulders down to the floor. Then push your chest up to the ceiling, rolling the weight up to your armpits. All right, now we got the spider curl. This is a very unique exercise because of the tension you get at the top. First, you want to grab a bench and put it at high incline. Then, grab a barbell or easy curl bar, and you want to pick a relatively light weight because these are pretty humbling. Then, just put your arms out in front of you and start curling. These are good because you can't use any momentum, and you just want to make sure you go all the way down and all the way back up. All right, now we got the chin-ups. In my opinion, a very underrated bicep exercise. And this is because they're the only compound movement that's main focus is the biceps. You might be thinking that chin-ups are mainly used for the back and not for the biceps, but there's a way to shift the focus onto your biceps. And this is just a mental cue that I like to use, and that is that you're going to want to act like you're doing a header like in soccer. And this is going to take the shift from your back to your biceps. All right, now we got the cable curl. You can choose to either use a straight bar or one with a little curve in it. First thing you're going to want to do is just pin your elbows to the side and then just think about driving your elbows to the ground. As long as you don't use any momentum, this exercise is great. To finish up the video, I want to give you guys 3 tips that apply to all bicep exercises that will help you simplify everything. The first tip is to keep your shoulders down. One of the most common mistakes on bicep exercises is having your shoulders take over. By letting the weight pull your shoulders down, this will allow the bicep to do the majority of the work instead of the shoulder. All right, next up, we got a mental cue that has really helped me, and it's just that you got to think about driving your elbows into the ground, and by doing this, it will just have your biceps automatically take over. The last tip is to control the negative and make sure not to use momentum. The most important part of training biceps is that you are in control of the weight. Training biceps should always be controlled, and just make sure that you are moving the weight and the weight is not moving you. I hope these tips help you as much as they've helped me, and thanks for watching, and just make sure to subscribe for more videos like this in the future.